Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So today we would like to present a group discussion about communicative language teaching. But before we start our presentation today, let me introduce our group. So my name is Eka Maurina Rahmah.
My name is Dhesta Fitriana.
My name is Shiva Komahnesi.
My name is Niken Ayu Hapsari.
And my name is Alda Rahmi.
And the next is the content of this material. The first one we will discuss about the definition of CLT, and the goals of CLT, and the characteristics of CLT, the techniques and material of CLT, and then the last is strengths and weaknesses of CLT. Okay, so the definition of communicative language teaching. CLT, communicative language teaching, aims to apply the theoretical perspective of the communicative approach by making communicative competence the goal of language teaching and by acknowledging the interdependence of language and communication. And then the next slide will be presented by Dhesta.
The goals of CLT to enable students to communicate in the target language. To approach the goals, students must 1. Know the linguistic forms, meanings and function. 2. Be able to choose the appropriate form. 3. Be able to manage the process of negotiation meaning. And the next slide will be presented by Shiva.
Okay, next slide is characteristic from CLT. As you can see in the slide, characteristic of CLT is everything is done with communicative activities. 2. Communication is purposeful. 3. The use of authentic material. And 4. Activities are often carried out by students in small groups. Next is technique and material will be presented by Niken.
Okay, techniques and material associated with communicative language teachings. Next slide. The first is authentic materials. Authentic materials, genuine material from newspaper, magazines, video from real English TV channel, menu, timetable, and etc. Then scrambled sentences. In scrambled sentences, there are for cohesion and coherence. Next, language gaps. In order to provide valuable communicative practice on the target language. Next slide. Picture straight story. This activity provides opinion gaps. Students discuss which pictures should come first. Then the last is role play. This technique provides the opportunity to practice the target language in various social social context. Okay, the next slide will be presented by Aulia.
Alright, so the next is strengths and weaknesses. Next, please. So the strength of this communicative language teaching. First, communicative approach is much more student-oriented because it's based on students' need and interest. And then number 2, communicative approach seeks to personalize and localize language and adapt it to the interest of the students. Meaningful language is always more easily retained by the learners. And then number 3, seeks to use authentic resources. And that is more interesting and motivating for the children. And then children acquire grammar rules as a necessity to speak, so are more proficient and efficient. Next, please. And then there is the weaknesses of this CLT. So the first is it pays insufficient attention to the context in which teaching and learning take place. And then second, the communicative approach often seems to be interpreted as if the teacher understands the students, we have good communication. But native speakers of the target language can have great difficulty understanding the students. And then the last, another disadvantage is that the CLT approach focuses on the fluency but not the accuracy. The approach does not focus on the error reduction but instead creates a situations where learners are left using their own device to solve their communication problem. Thus, they may produce incoherent, grammatically